wait, are you now in the US permanently? Are you back in the Netherlands? Why are you not in DC anymore? Are you moving to LA? Yeah.
I don't want no scrub. A scrub is a guy that can't get no love from me. Hanging out the passenger side of his best friend's ride.
Hi everyone, I hope you're all having a very good day and welcome to a new video on my channel. Filming this video has been such a difficult process for me. I can smile about it now, but this was actually the third time that I'm recording the same video. The very first time I filmed this video was in the middle of nowhere, in the desert of Joshua Tree National Park, and this girl lost her SD card with all her files on it, and my heart still breaks because there were like 3 days worth of footage and hard work on it, and I lost everything. Then I decided to refilm this video, and the second time that I filmed this video in this apartment, in the same spot as I'm filming it right now, I accidentally deleted all the files. I don't know if this is the universe telling me that I should not be talking about this topic right now, but I cannot hold it in any longer because what I'm going to be talking about has been something that has been a big part of my life and also of my YouTube channel for the past year. I think many of you will already know what I'm going to be talking about, but if not, because for example you're new or you haven't been up to date with what has been going on in my life, in this video I'm finally going to be answering the question if I can stay in the United States of America or not, and I have to go back to the Netherlands. Before I'm going to be answering this question, I really want to talk a little bit about my journey of discovering the immigration process in the United States. I know that I have already talked about this in other videos, but a lot of you guys don't watch all my videos, which is totally understandable. I feel like you are all so ambitious, hardworking and successful, and I definitely want you guys to focus on chasing your dreams, because that is what I'm doing too. So I don't think everyone has watched those videos. And also the immigration process and the visa process in the US is so complicated that I want to try to kind of talk a little bit more in depth about it, because I received a lot of comments from you guys that were very confused about, wait, are you now in the US permanently? Are you back in the Netherlands? Why are you not in DC anymore? Are you moving to LA? Yeah, it was definitely hard for me to keep up with YouTube because so many crazy things have happened in my personal life, and obviously being on YouTube, my personal life is part of my work life. I needed to distance myself a little bit in order to kind of, process everything that was going on. But now I'm ready to talk about it. So let's start from the beginning. For everyone that is not new or has not heard this story, I'm sorry that I'm repeating myself, but I felt like it would be good to have one very comprehensive video about my experience with the immigration process in the US. So I originally came to the US on a student visa because I went to George Washington University Law School, and after I graduated, that's already May 2018, I can't believe it's been a year, more than a year already, I just realized that I wanted to stay in the US because I fell in love with this country. I'm not saying that the US is perfect. The US is definitely not perfect, but I met so many amazing people. I lived in a city with so much diversity and so many different cultures that I felt just so inspired and home. The US made me feel like I was at home, and that was a feeling I never had in the Netherlands, even though I was born and raised there. So I just had this very strong intuitive feeling that was telling me, Lilia, you need to try everything that you can in order to stay in the US. So that is what I did. I decided to apply for a visa that was focused on starting a business in the US. Now, I have received quite a little bit of questions from you guys. Why did I decide to apply for that visa and not for another visa? Also, a lot of questions from people who want to do the same thing, who are living in a different country and they want to move to the US, but they don't really know where to even start. And obviously, I'm not an immigration attorney, but I do have my law degree and I did do a lot of research on immigration, finding out all the requirements for specific visas that would be relevant to me or not. And if you guys would be interested in it, I could definitely do a kind of hopefully brief video about a few visas that could be relevant for you if you're in the same position as me. So for example, you're a student, or you're thinking of becoming a student, or you're a freshly graduated student and you want to work in the US. I can maybe talk about a few visas that would be relevant in that case and make a video about it, but only if you guys would find that interesting. In this video, I can't add all that information because it would literally be an hour-long video, and I don't think anyone would watch a video of me talking for an hour. I'm sidetracking. I decided to apply for that visa. Of course, I was aware that the immigration process in the US was rather daunting. I definitely underestimated it completely. I had 3 months to completely finish up my case, and 3 months seems like a long time, but trust me, it wasn't. There were so many required documents, so many forms I had to fill out, so many translations I had to get, so many paper trails I had to trace and I had to document. You guys, it was probably one of the most difficult things I've done in life, and I literally went through law school. But this, the process took me pretty much a whole year. I think for me, this year was one of the hardest years I've experienced because I just felt so anxious, and I'm naturally not a very anxious person at all, but just not knowing in which country you're going to live the rest of your life is something a lot of people can't relate to, and something that will really stress you out. When someone would ask me, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I literally couldn't even answer that question because I wouldn't even know in which country I would be living. Life was definitely tough, but especially the people around me were very confident in my abilities of getting the visa. Everyone I would talk to always said that I was like the perfect candidate, that you're definitely going to get the visa, and that I didn't have to doubt myself even a little bit. And obviously, I really appreciated their support, but I had this little voice inside me, my doubt, constantly telling me, Lilia, but what if you are not good enough? What if you're not gonna get this visa? What if you didn't spend enough time in your case? And that is why it was so hard for me to tell everyone that I actually didn't get my visa. Because in January, I heard the news from USCIS that my visa got denied. And when I heard that news, I really didn't know what to do. I just felt like the world came crashing down, and I just felt so sad going back to the Netherlands. And I was really debating if I should just go back to the Netherlands and call it a day, say goodbye to my American dream, or if I should try again because I was already so invested in this process. It was definitely a hard decision because I've already invested so much of my time and money and effort in this project, and I still had 0 results because my visa got denied. But I knew that if I wouldn't exhaust every opportunity that I had to get this freaking visa, I would not be able to live with myself, because I would be constantly asking the question, what if, Lilia? What if that one shot that you didn't take would have given you the visa? This girl is not a quitter. She never was. So I decided, even though I kind of lost hope in myself completely, to try again. So what I did is that I switched to a new lawyer because I didn't like my previous lawyer that much anymore. I also decided to appeal my case, and I decided to reapply to the American Embassy in the Netherlands, so get a whole new petition out. Now, this is a little bit complicated, and before I haven't really mentioned or even talked about this properly. I did receive one comment from someone kind of calling me out on not stating what I'm actually applying for correctly. That is because it is a little bit more complicated to explain, but I thought, you know what, let me explain it right now to clear everything up, and so that you guys have maybe a little bit more understanding about how difficult this immigration process is. So, all this time I've been telling you guys that I've been applying for a visa, but that is actually not true. What I've been applying for is a change of status. Now, a change of status is something super vague. Like, what is a change of status? A change of status can mean a lot. If I say change of status, you're not instantly going to think it has something to do with my immigration status. But that is how it's called in the immigration legal terms. So in short, there are two ways for you to get to stay in the US. The first way is to apply for a visa at the American Embassy in your home country. So for me that would be Amsterdam. Once your visa is granted, you can enter the US, and once you are in the US, and for example, you came as a tourist and then you decided to become a student, you're able to change your status to a different immigration status without actually leaving the US. That means that your visa and your passport is still the same, but internally in the US, your status has changed. Now, that is very convenient because you don't have to leave the US and then come back. You can actually just stay in the US, which is obviously great if you're not planning on leaving. However, there's also one big downside to that, and that is the fact that a change of status only works internally. If your change of status is granted and you change your status, when you leave the US, because it is still only an internal change and it is not a new visa in your passport, you cannot re-enter the US. That is pretty shitty. That means that even if you got the change of status approved and you want to be able to leave the country, you want to be able to travel and come back to the US, you still have to reapply to the embassy in your home country. So, if some of you smarty pants already figured it out, what I've been doing right now is not applying for a visa but for a change of status, because I was already on a student visa when I came to the US, and then I was planning on changing my status. So when I said that my visa got denied, it wasn't that my visa got denied, but that my change of status got denied. That gave me a little bit more courage to reapply at the embassy in the Netherlands, because I had to have done that anyway. But obviously at some point in my life I wanted to be able to leave the US, so I had to reapply at the embassy anyway. Means that I had two different immigration processes going on at the same time. So when my change of status got denied, I still had my other option of applying at the embassy, which I had to do anyway. Even if it got approved, I would have still had to do that. So that is why I decided to reapply at the American Embassy in the Netherlands, but I also decided to appeal the original decision of USCIS. Now, when it comes to that appeal of the change of status, that is also something that requires a little bit of explanation. When my change of status got denied, it meant that I wasn't allowed to stay in the US anymore. There's a little bit of controversy how much time you have before you have to leave the US, but there's one thing that is for certain. If you stay in the US longer than 180 days after you lost your status or your visa got expired, you acquire unlawful presence. And once you have unlawful presence, you cannot enter the US for a year. And if it's more than a year, I think you can't re-enter the US for 10 years. It's quite a severe punishment, and you definitely don't want to acquire any unlawful presence. Now, I decided to appeal my case, but an appeal usually takes 6 months, so 180 days. That would mean that the chances of me getting my appeal in time, so the decision of my appeal in time, were quite slim. And once I leave the US, because this was only a change of status, even if I would win my appeal, it would be useless because I would have already left the country. I still decided to appeal my case because I needed some time to pack up all my stuff, and I was worried that if I didn't appeal my case, I would maybe get deported. And if you have an appeal going on, then you cannot get deported. Only after the 180 days you do acquire unlawful presence. So that is still applicable, but you cannot get deported before that time. So I switched to a new lawyer, and my new lawyer filed the appeal in February. And I decided to leave the US end of March. But before I wanted to leave the US, I wanted to make a last trip to LA. That was a very random decision that I decided to go to LA, but I just wanted to do a last trip. And at that time, my friend Mia, who you've obviously seen on my YouTube channel a lot recently, she was thinking of moving to LA, and she booked an Airbnb for a month. And I decided to join her for 5 days, then come back to DC for 1 day, and then the next day fly back to the Netherlands. That was the original, the OG plan. But that plan completely fell through, because on the second day of my trip to LA, I met with my lawyer. I had a meeting with my lawyer, and when I met with her, we found a way for me to stay longer in the US. Now, this is not some magical way to stay in the US like that when you need it. Trust me, I received a few comments from you guys asking me like, what was the magical way? Now, I can't really share every private detail of my immigration status and immigration process, but what I can say is that I switched to my new lawyer very hastily because I only had 30 days to file an appeal. So she didn't really know me and exactly everything that I wanted, because obviously I had way more time with my old lawyer. She knew my case through and through. My new lawyer, she had to first really understand my full case and then write an appeal. So she didn't really have time to 100% understand my reasoning, that I wanted to stay in the US as long as possible, things like that. And when I had a sit down with her, we kind of rediscovered an option that we could try, and that option ended up working. So that gave me a few more months, until September to be exact, to stay in the US, which was great because obviously, you guys, I want to stay in the US as long as I can. Of course, it wasn't ideal because first of all, I didn't have a home anymore. I sold all my furniture, my lease ended, it was all gone. Second of all, I already had my ticket booked to the Netherlands. I was literally ready to leave the US. And third of all, I was in LA. I wasn't in DC, and I didn't have anything to go back to in DC pretty much as well. So it was definitely a very weird decision that I had to make. I had these few extra months, which is obviously also temporary. It's not, permanently that I could stay in the US. So it would be hard to find, a lease for that, period of time. I didn't have any furniture, so I was like, do I need to buy new furniture and then sell it in 5 months? Like, I don't want to be doing that. And also, where should I go? Like, should I go back to DC without having an apartment? Or should I stay in LA, a new place, discover, California, and do some traveling? And that's what I decided to do, because honestly, I was pretty miserable. I was also pretty miserable in my relationship. That has also to do with my last minute trip to LA. Honestly, I just needed a break. And I was like, yeah, I think traveling right now is, that sounds great. I'm gonna do it. So I decided to join Mia in her Airbnb for a month and travel LA and then, see what would happen. a few weeks in, me and my ex-boyfriends, we broke up with each other because it was just not working anymore. Both of us were not happy, and that was kind of like the final moment that I felt like I didn't have anything in DC for me anymore, and that I needed to be in LA. So if you're still watching this video and you're like, Lilia, when are you finally going to share stuff that I didn't know? Now is the moment, and I really apologize that I had to repeat myself, but I wanted to kind of put everything together so that new people, new subscribers would also kind of know my story. Now the time has come when I'm finally going to be sharing something that I've been trying to share now 3 times, and every time something went wrong, but the moment has come. So me and Mia, we decided to go to Joshua Tree for 7 days, or actually 5 days. Yes, for 5 days. And Joshua Tree is honestly the most magical place on earth for me. Everything I'm telling you right now, I actually filmed that in Joshua Tree National Park with a beautiful background and a very thematic one too. But unfortunately, I lost pretty much all footage of that day. So what I'm going to do right now is insert some of the clips of that day to give you guys a little bit of a vibe of the moment. Because when I was in Joshua Tree, I received some news. And yeah, we're going to watch that right now.
Apple of my eye, you so fly. Are you my kind of guy? Are we right? I'll wait for you, feelings are true. Will you wait for me too? Don't have a clue. Restless, I wish I was resting in your arms. Careless, every day I'm doing something wrong. I've been thinking of different ways to make you stay, to make you stay. I've been thinking of different ways to make you stay, to make you stay. Restless, I wish I was resting in your arms.
Good morning guys, and welcome to a new vlog. Today is the very last day. Mia and I are going to be in Joshua Tree. Mia,
Hello.
say hi to my followers.
Hi guys, how's it going?
So yeah, today is the last day we are in this Airbnb. We already need to leave this Airbnb and we're going to the actual park today. And then we're going to drive to Poway, which I think is literally in the middle of nowhere. We booked a super cheap Airbnb there. It's literally just a room with a bed because we need to edit. We have so much content because we've done so much traveling and we had so many adventures that we vlogged a lot, but we didn't really have time to actually edit all the footage. So we're going to spend 3 days of our time editing in a room in the middle of nowhere because it's cheap, and after that we're going to San Diego.
This girl forgot her watch.
Oh my god, girl. Thank you. Thank you so much. This is a watch I actually got when I was, I think, 19 years old. No, 17 years old.
Really?
Yeah, it's my favorite watch. It was my first watch and it's my favorite watch. But wait, let me put it on real quick. But yeah, now we're leaving this Airbnb and we're going to the park, which is super exciting. And yeah, then it's time to go to Poway, and then 3 days later we're going to San Diego for a week. So lots of traveling, super exciting. And yeah, I was just in a really good mood. I'm sorry if it's a little bit choppy, but I still really want to share that because that was when I just heard the news and I felt like it is better for me to share it when it was fresh than how I am now talking about it weeks later. So we filed my appeal in February because we had 30 days to appeal the decision, and in the meantime I stayed in the US. We had 30 days to file the appeal, which we then ended up doing, and I decided that I would leave the US before the decision would come in so I wouldn't acquire any unlawful presence. So I was like, okay, end of March I'll be going back to the Netherlands to reapply at the embassy and await that decision. There are people coming and I feel really awkward talking about this right now. Sorry guys for the angle change, but I think there's literally a K-pop band shooting their album cover right now behind me, and I felt very awkward telling this story, so that's why the angle changed. Joshua Tree is literally my magical place, my magic place. I feel like miracles happen here every time that I come here, because the first time I was in Joshua Tree, I actually heard one of my last grades for law school for my finals. That made me graduate, so I have very good memories here. And when I was checking my email yesterday, all of a sudden I get an email from my lawyer stating that my appeal got approved, which means that this girl can now stay in the US for 2 years, that her company got approved, that I can work for LilyLike LLC. Yeah, I want to thank you guys all for everyone that was so kind and so supportive to me. I expected a lot of people to say stuff like, oh, of course, because you don't have a real job and shit like that. That kind of triggers me because trust me, if this wasn't a real job I wouldn't be able to make a living here. But anyway, I was expecting a lot of comments like that, but everyone was pretty much so supportive and so sweet. Yeah, I was just so happy with your support, but I also felt so conflicted when I first heard that not my visa got approved, but when I first heard that I could stay longer here, because yeah, I didn't want to share it immediately because I was so behind with my vlogs. I didn't want to spoil it. And then I heard that my appeal actually got approved and I was like, yes. I knew that my case was good. I just couldn't believe that they would deny me, and it was just a mistake from their end. So yeah, that is the news. I am now going because it's already getting dark and Mia has been waiting on me in the car, which is super sweet. And yeah, oh yeah, last thing, because I can stay here now for 2 years, I am going to move in together with Mia. We're going to look for a 2-bedroom apartment in LA. Honestly crazy. This girl is going to live in LA. Yeah, I still prefer DC over LA, but I feel like LA is just the right place for me to be right now. So that's what we're going to do. This girl is staying in America. Woo! Okay guys, casual walking with the American flag behind me on my way to Mia, who's also vlogging right now. And I don't know if you can see it, but behind me there are a few guys, K-pop guys I think, shooting photos. I felt very awkward. America, America. Video bomb. Sorry girl, you had to wait so long for me.
That's okay.
You know what happened?
What happened?
So I was filming, I was like in my mood, all of a sudden 4 guys, 4 Asian guys with these blonde wigs looking as
stylish.
like, I think they're K-pop or whatever. I think they're literally shooting an album cover right now. That's what I think. We were
They were really stylish.
Yeah.
Like, they were like bandanas on the head,
No.
bandanas like everywhere,
like
long hair.
But it was just very weird because most people are very like in, how do you say, mountain climb gear, casual gear, and we're over the top, and all of a sudden there are these 4 guys wearing wigs and boots and like bandanas and like leather red jackets, and I'm like,
no, I
what
was
the hell?
so I had to come to the car instead of the car. I was like, wait, I don't really know what's going on. I don't know what they're gonna ask from me. So let me just be safe. So I entered the car, but then they're like,
Yeah, they're just shooting.
They have their camera.
I don't know if they're Korean. They were speaking another language because they literally came to the spot where I was filming, and I was like, I can't be tongue talking about fucking immigration stuff right now. This is really awkward. So I moved.
Nobody looks super stylish, you
Yeah.
guys. Like we look, like I thought we looked over the top, but when you see those people, they're like over the top.
Yeah, like,
Like
red lipstick is casual compared to them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, let's get in the car.
Yeah, it's cold. Okay, guys. Wow. I can't believe I finally shared this news with you guys and that it is finally out, because I've been keeping this secret now for weeks, and I just feel relieved and so happy to be sharing this news with you. This story is unfortunately still not ended, because I'm going to the Netherlands mid-July. Yes, I'm actually going to the Netherlands. The reason why I'm going to the Netherlands is because I need to end my lease of my studio apartment there, my loft apartment there. And I also need to go to Russia to see my grandmother, because unfortunately she's not doing well. And if you were a good student at the beginning of this video and you kind of are good at connecting the dots, you will know that my appeal for my change of status got approved and that I'm leaving the US, which means once I leave the US, I cannot re-enter the US again. So that means that I still have to reapply at the American Embassy before I can get back to the US. It definitely sounds a bit stupid, winning your appeal and then leaving the US. I could have stayed and worked here for 2 years, and if I leave, I just throw all that away. But, you know, family first, and my grandmother, she's not doing well. And I would never forgive myself if I would not go and visit her. That's like the most important thing. So I rather risk it. You know, I got it once. I'm confident now in myself that I'm going to get it again. Yeah, I already applied, as I said. I'm currently waiting to hear the date of my interview at the embassy in the Netherlands. They only do it face-to-face, so that's why I had to go there too. And after I have my interview, which is going to be probably in August, I will know if I can go back to the US or not. And if I get it, it would be great, because then I have a visa that will also allow me to leave and travel around the world. Because yeah, although I love the US, I don't want to be stuck there for 2 years. So the story is still continuing. It's not the season finale, but it's still really good news, and I definitely found confidence in myself again. And if there's one thing about this whole story that I want to tell you guys, is that you should never ever stop believing in yourself and your dreams and your abilities, because I definitely stopped. I thought that I made so many bad decisions coming out of law school, and you know, obviously, I know that, obviously, I'm very well aware of the fact that I haven't chosen a traditional legal career path. And to me, it made complete sense to pursue entrepreneurship, run my own business, because I've always been a boss bitch. Like, I don't want to work for anyone else. I want to be my own boss. I want to run my company. I always, you know, had this feeling of, if I want to work for a law firm, I'm not gonna do that. I want to have my own law firm, you know? I never wanted to work for anyone else because I'm way too stubborn and independent to listen to people tell me what to do. But obviously, I never thought that my career would be so, you know, different than from law. I'm still kind of figuring out to find a way to combine both things. Every time I get a message from you telling me that you found courage to wear that red lipstick to class because you love it and you don't care about what other people think of you anymore, or that time when you found the courage to apply for college or law school because you saw my video and you were like, if she can do it, I can do it too. Those moments just make me so happy, and just like I kind of found my purpose of life. Like, it just never gets old. And I want to like really thank you guys, and also let you guys know that I try to respond to as many comments as I can, but unfortunately there are just so many of you amazing souls, and I just can't do it. But know that every message you send to me, I read it and I treasure it. And I went to law school to help people, and I feel like we've created this platform on social media, which is usually perceived quite negatively, but we've created a very positive platform with ambitious women that are hustling, going to college, going to university, studying law, studying something else, starting their own business, just, you know, living life the way that they want to live their life. And I'm just very happy about that, and I just feel like it would be stupid to just throw that away just because it's not a traditional career path. So I'm still finding a way to kind of combine both, because I do really miss law. Like, I genuinely miss law, and I've been thinking of maybe starting a series called Law with Lily about my research that I did, because I didn't even want to be a lawyer. I wanted to be a legal researcher and focus on legal theory and law philosophy and comparing different legal systems. I did quite a little bit of research on freedom of speech, First Amendment rights compared to the Netherlands and the US, as well as feminist theory. I did a lot of research on harmful stereotypes of women, but also things like the role of emotions in moral judgments. So I definitely have quite a little bit of research that is definitely interesting, or at least I think that it's interesting, and I would love to talk about that. And I definitely also received some comments from you guys telling me that you would like to know what kind of research I've done. So I think that's maybe a good way for me to kind of combine both things, to talk a little bit more in depth about law, which I never actually really done. I would usually talk about how I study, but never what I study, if that makes sense. So if you guys would be interested in that, then definitely let me know. This has been a very long video, and I'm definitely tired of talking, but I really hope you guys enjoyed it and it was helpful. I would love to know from you guys what you would like to see on my YouTube channel, because I already dropped a few ideas here and there, but I obviously know that my channel has changed a lot. I have changed a lot, and I'm really grateful for everyone that stuck around, because you guys are awesome. So let me know what kind of videos you want to see. Obviously routines are coming. I know you guys love routines. There is a routine coming. Right now I'm actually in my new temporary bedroom in LA. This is a very cute Airbnb. It's a mix of the Airbnb stuff and my stuff, because I shipped all my stuff to LA. But yeah, I'm going to be staying here for a month, so this definitely feels like my home now, and it's an amazing Airbnb too. So can't wait to film like a summer morning routine here or anything like that. But if you guys have any other suggestions of videos that you would like to see, please leave it down below. Yeah, and also if any of you guys are going through the same struggle as me, please share it with me, because I don't have a lot of people in my circle going through the same process as me, and I always feel so alone. So whenever one of you guys tell me that you're also struggling with this, just makes me feel like, you know, we got each other. So let me know in the comments, or send me a DM or Instagram or email me or whatever if you want it to be a little bit more incognito, a little bit more private. Yeah, you can send me a message there. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. It helps me out a lot, because that way more people will see this video. And I'll talk to you very, very soon. I really love you guys, and I can't wait to take you on the last part of this journey with me. So, bye guys!
You know where now.